They're so cute.
I love it out here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's share.
What gets me viewing?
It got me, as usual. You know what I didn't do? Is put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
You can do it.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's such a delay.
Yeah.
That's too funny. We're not. I'm excited for today's.
I am too. I'm excited for our setting.
Oh, yeah.
This
Maybe
is
we
a
should do
setting.
this, like, every time.
Yeah. The lighting is doing great things. I'm not sitting up here. There we go. Okay.
All right.
Did you share?
I shared it. You shared it.
Okay. From national parks to theme parks, a travel experience. I'm Cherie.
And I'm Cheyenne.
Let's go to the park.
Today's park is Fall Creek Falls State Park in Tennessee. So it is the first state park in our home state that we're going to cover.
Oh,
here
yeah.
on our thing.
Cool. Very nice. Okay, Fall Creek Falls is one of my favorite state parks. I have been to 49 out of 56 of the Tennessee state parks, and it's either number 1 or number 2. So, there's another one that's very close.
Which one?
Should I say it?
Yeah.
Rock Island.
Rock Island. Okay, yeah.
I do love Rock Island as well.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to pick between those two. So, just undecided. Those two are going to have to tie. And I can't wait to go back. I love to go to Fall Creek Falls. I don't feel like I can ever go to Fall Creek Falls too many times, really.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many things were there outside of just seeing the waterfall. Because I always just associated Fall Creek Falls with the waterfall.
That's true.
So I'm excited to kind of go back and dive into more of those other things to do.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So let's do a quiz.
Bum, bum,
Bum, bum, bum. Some of these are really hard and you're just going to have to guess.
Gosh. Okay, fine.
But I know you've been doing research for this episode, so some of this you might have read.
Like a week ago.
Well, yeah, but you got it.
So we'll see, but okay.
All right, the first one is true or false.
Okay, 50-50.
More than 100 campground sites are full hookup.
Now, I should know this one because I wrote about the full hookup
You did write
sites.
it.
I think it's false.
It is false. There are 92
Yeah, okay.
campground sites that are full hookup.
Very
and can we
nice.
talk about that? 92 full hookup
Yeah, that's great.
sites. That doesn't happen.
Especially in the state park.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really cool fact.
Yeah.
All right, true or false? Wi-Fi is available at the cabins and the campground.
Well, of course, at the cabins, I do know that much. But the campground, I really don't remember. True.
That is true. That is true. You can have Wi-Fi access throughout most of the park where you can stay.
Which I don't associate Wi-Fi and camping because it's kind of a time to unplug. But, however, if you're traveling and working, working from your camper, then that's a big perk.
Yep.
And a must-have thing. So.
And the last time we went, we had a 2-year-old with us, and it downpour rained the whole time. So we were able to use the Wi-Fi for our TV, so she could spend some inside time.
Yeah, that's true
and watch
too.
TV. So that's not generally what we do when we camp, but it was nice to have that.
Yeah, it's still good to know.
Yep. Okay. True or false? This state park has a colorblind viewer.
True.
That is true.
That's such a cool feature.
Which is really cool. There are a couple different parks in the state of Tennessee that have colorblind viewers. So it depends on what type of colorblind you have on whether or not it works.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So one of our friends, we took him, and he was the wrong kind of colorblind.
Oh,
So he
That's
pretended that his world had changed, and then it had it. But my aunt, Lucy...
yes, that's what helped me get this.
Yeah, it works for her.
Yeah,
So
wasn't that
she
the
can
first
see it.
place she was able to use something like that, or no?
No, she bought the glasses.
Okay.
She has a pair of glasses. The first time she saw my hair, she was just kind of like, I didn't know that's what your hair looked like. It's like, yeah,
That's so cool.
it's this color. It was really cool.
Yeah, that is
It was really sweet. Okay, multiple choice. Which of the following is true? You cannot bring your own firewood. You can bring any firewood. You can bring firewood as long as it's heat treated.
It's not the second one. I know you can't bring any firewood. I'm gonna go with A. You cannot bring any.
That would be wrong.
Okay.
You can bring your own firewood as long as it's heat treated. Which that rule varies at a bunch of the different state parks, national parks, and stuff. And all that is to keep the bugs out that aren't natural to that area. Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. How many playgrounds are at Fall Creek Falls? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5?
4.
4. Yep.
Woo!
You're good. Okay. I said these are really hard, and she was like,
Hyping me up.
Yeah. Okay. Last one. Which of the following is not true? The longest trail is 13.2 miles. The pool is Olympic size. The Canopy Challenge has over 75 obstacles. Or the Copperhead Rock climbing route is at the tallest 65 feet tall.
I'm gonna go with the last one, with the climbing.
It's actually the first one.
Really?
The longest trail is not 13.2 miles. It is 14 miles.
Oh.
I know. 13.2
Okay.
miles. I know. That's the second longest trail.
Okay.
So there's 2 overnight hikes. One's like the upper loop and one's the lower loop. The upper loop is 14 miles and the lower loop is 13.2.
Okay, so have you ever done an overnight hike?
Not at Fall Creek Falls. I did it in the Smokies.
Cool.
We went to Mount LeConte and stayed. At the
Yes. Okay. Did you stay in the lodge though?
No,
you
I
can't.
can afford that.
Is it expensive?
It's expensive.
If I hike that far, I'm staying at the lodge.
I mean, I
I'm
don't
just
blame you.
saying. I am not sleeping on the ground after that.
It wasn't a ground. It was a wooden structure.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was a board. You slept
Woo!
on a board. Yeah, I'm not selling it.
I'll
not
take the
selling
lodge.
it. But yeah, I would rather take the lodge.
If I'm gonna die, I want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, next, national park numbers. So here are some little fun facts about Fall Creek Falls State Park. There are 30 cabins. 20 of those are fisherman cabins that are located on Fall Creek Lake. They have 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom cabins. And there are 10 landside cabins that are 2-bedroom cabins. I thought that was quite a few cabins.
That is a lot of cabins.
And I would
if
also like to
you-
stay there.
If you drive down to them, they're beautiful to
Yeah,
look at.
they are. I would
They're
really
not
like to stay
just
there.
old cabins.
Yeah. And then there are 85 rooms at the lodge at Fall Creek Falls, which is newly renovated.
Which is new and beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful. Would love to stay there. Maybe, actually, I think I'd rather do the cabins. I'd like to go see the lodge and eat there at the restaurant, but
Yes.
stay at the
I
cabins.
feel like that's something we do at state parks a lot, is try to eat at the lodge.
Yeah, if it's available, for sure.
Yeah.
This is a nice number for all the fellow campers. 222 campsites, 92, like she said, with full hookups. Although there are that many campsites, they fill up pretty quickly. I feel like. Maybe not completely, but I mean, at some point, they usually do completely sell out.
Yeah.
So that's quite a few to fill up. There is one restaurant, like we said, that was recently renovated. They have the best breakfast buffet ever
Really?
Ever.
I've not got to eat there.
It's not currently open. Or they're not currently serving the breakfast buffet. I mean, to say it that way.
Okay.
But we caught it one time, and it was so good. There are 3 snack bars, and there are 4 waterfalls.
Wow, that's a lot of waterfalls.
I know.
Have I seen more than one?
I feel like maybe I've seen more than one, but I've not seen all 4.
Wait. The last time we went behind the nature center and walked across that bridge, and there was one back there.
Yeah, I
think
think
that
so.
one. So the last time I went to Fall Creek Falls was with Blake and Cherie. So it was Blake and Cherie, myself, Tyler, and Evie, and that was in September of 2021, and it was over Blake's birthday weekend.
And that was also the last time we have been there as well. How we got there, we drove and pulled our campers, and it is 1 hour and 51 minutes from our house, so not a bad drive. And you also lose an hour, I believe. I believe you chose.
I'm really bad at time zones.
I believe I'm right, but I'm not 100% sure. And we stayed in the campground. I don't remember which loop, but I know I've stayed in C and D. I don't think I've stayed in A and B before. So, some of our top spots around the park. Of course, number 1, and the name of the park is Fall Creek Falls. This waterfall is 256 feet tall, and it is one of the highest waterfalls in the eastern United States. Did you know that?
I knew it was tall, but I didn't know that it was one of the tallest.
You can hike to the base of the falls, which I have done before. Have you?
Yes.
It's 0.8 of a mile, so not far, but of course you're hiking down to the waterfall, so the elevation gains around 260 feet. So, I mean, I felt like it was maybe moderate. I don't remember it being strenuous.
I remember there was a lot of, like, wooden framed steps. Like, not actual steps, but a piece of log that you would kind of walk down.
If I can do it, because I don't do steep things, then most likely you can do it. It is dog friendly, and I definitely think it was worth it. I think it was fun to hike to the base of the waterfall. And then, of course, there is the overlook at the top, which has a nice parking lot, paved sidewalk to the overlook. And I couldn't confirm if it was handicap accessible, but I feel like it is.
I feel like it is. And if it's not, the only thing that I can think of is maybe there might be a curb to get from the parking lot to the top.
Yeah.
But if you were in a manual wheelchair and had someone with you, you would still be able to navigate that.
Right.
But it doesn't say where it is. I know there's an ADA hike, an accessible hike. I'll talk about that here in a second. So one of the other top things to do that I've got to do was do a cave tour at Fall Creek Falls. And so I pulled up their upcoming events. So in May, there's a cave tour. There's a kayaking 101 class. And then there's a pontoon tour.
Cool.
Which is cool. In June, they have a Women in the Wilderness event.
Nice.
And it's led by a female ranger.
Love it.
I kind of think we should look at the date for and maybe go.
That would be awesome, yeah.
And then again, there's the Lost Creek Cave Tour. They're doing that in June. And then in September, they have a big festival every year. So it's the 45th annual Mountaineer Folk Festival. And so I looked up some pictures from the year before, and it's like your typical mountain folk stuff. So, like,
enlighten us. What is typical mountain folk stuff?
Like they have mules that are going around the thing making sorghum.
Oh, cool.
They have goats and goat products, like goat cheese and goat milk and goat lotion, stuff like that. A lot of, I think they had a chair weaving class.
Cool.
So very, very old school mountaineer, like Little House on the Prairie feeling.
That sounds fun.
I think. I know. I thought that was pretty cool.
I've not
and
been
that's
to
in
any of
September.
those.
Maybe we should go back in September for that.
That would be
I
nice.
love festivals.
I also love
festivals.
Yeah, I do.
We should look that up.
Perfect. Okay. At Fall Creek Falls, there are so many park activities to choose from, so much to do. Some of those include golfing, horseback riding.
Not just kind of golfing, but like an 18-hole golf course. Golf.
Accurate, yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
There is a ropes course that we'll talk a little bit more about later. You can fish, and actually from some of the cabins, you can fish from your balcony.
Right off the back deck.
Love that. Yeah, that's the one I want to stay at. You can swim. There is a nature center to check out. That's pretty cool. We've been there. You can go across a swinging bridge, which is always fun. Rock climbing and boating.
Yeah. So with swimming, you can swim in the creeks and things. There's a bunch of different areas. There's a wading pool area, but they also have like an Olympic-sized pool. So if you don't want to swim in the creek, you can swim in the pool, which I think is pretty cool.
I do too, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really a park you could stay at, like, for your vacation. Like, for many days, up to a week, really, I feel like, with so much to do.
I agree. So I wrote down some of the hiking trails. The longest ones, again, it's the Cane Creek Overnight Trail. There's the Upper Loop and the Lower Loop, which are moderate and difficult. Neither of which I've done, but those are some pretty big hikes, I think, for a park.
For sure.
And then some of the other trails are the Gorge Overlook Trail. So you can see down into the gorge itself. And it's 1.2 miles. Then there's the base of Fall Creek Falls Trail, which she talked about. Takes you down to the base. It's classified as difficult.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's just because of the elevation gain.
Yeah.
It's not that it's really long or tricky to navigate. I think it's just that elevation gain, because it's 0.4 miles and 270 feet of elevation.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. And then there's a bike trail, and it's a 3.4 mile trail, and it is classified as easy or ADA.
Nice.
Because it's on a paved surface.
Yay.
So it's a 3.4 mile ADA trail, which I think is cool.
ADA access at these parks.
Me too. That's not something that we really have thought about or needed to think about in the past, but more recently, I guess, that it's been on our brains a bit more as our family members or people that we work with are in wheelchairs or need other handicap accessible things.
Yeah.
It's been pretty cool to see that things are becoming more accessible for everyone.
Which is much needed.
Yep. So one of my favorite memories from going to Fall Creek Falls. So when I was in high school, my biology class went to Fall Creek Falls. So we got to stay in, there's like a special area for groups to stay in. So outside of the campgrounds and the cabins and the lodge, there's another place you can stay.
Nice.
So we stayed there. All the girls stayed in one cabin and all the boys stayed in the other. And it was set up, this is important to the story, I promise. When you walk in, to the left is the kitchen and to the right is like a living room. And then there's half walls, and then there's a hallway behind that, and then there was like 4 or 6 rooms of bunk beds.
Oh.
And each room, each room had 4 bunk beds. So there's a lot of bunk beds, but all of these are like, the walls don't go all the way up to the ceiling. So like, there's still no privacy. It was fun. So while we were there, we got to do the ropes course, like a group challenge thing. Part of it was, there's this giant seesaw, and you have to get everyone on it and balance it, which is fun. You've probably seen videos of people doing those and then crashing. We didn't crash. We did it.
Wow.
And then there was another group thing we had to do. It was a giant wall, and you had to get everyone over the wall.
Fun,
and
yeah.
You could only help a person 2 times before you were done. So there was a lot of stuff with it. And then there was one where there was a big pole over here and a big pole over here, and then there was just ropes all around it, and you had to get everyone through the ropes, and you couldn't use the same pole twice. So that was really fun. But then when I went back and tried to find that, I couldn't find that. I found like the canopy challenge, and that's like they hook you in and you do zip lining, and there's like balance beams in the air and ropes course stuff.
Cool.
So I've not done the new one. I did the old one, but it was pretty cool. So with that whole group, we did that, and then the next day we did a cave tour. And while we were in the cave, one of my friends, she was in front of me, and we had to wear hard hats and gear.
Oh.
So it wasn't like a Mammoth Cave paved floor kind of situation.
Okay.
It was, you had to wear hard helmets, and yes. And so we got to go like up the cave walls, and then you could slide down them.
Oh, cool.
It was really fun.
Huh.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they had the stalactites and the stalagmites. And one of my friends tripped over a stalagmite, and she fell backwards and almost like hit her head into the stalagmite. And I just kind of pushed her. I saved her life. So she missed the stalagmite by like this much because I pushed her out of the way. Pat on the back, gold star for Cheyenne. But after the cave tour, we came back to our little area, and we were telling ghost stories around the campfire.
Fun.
Because of course, everything has a ghost story. This place was founded in, I think, 1937, and then the CCC came in 1944.
Nice.
Maybe, to do some stuff. So it's old. It's old. So we're talking about different ghost stories, and of course, you know, our cabin was haunted and all this stuff. So we go to bed, and then one of my other friends, her name's Kayla, she was on, I think she was on the top bunk and I was on the bottom bunk. It might have been vice versa. I don't remember. She also has red hair. She and I were still awake because we could hear someone in the kitchen. Now remember, there's only like half pony walls, so you can't see into the kitchen, but you could hear into the kitchen. And we stayed awake forever because the cabinet door would creak open and then slam shut.
Ooh!
And it did that forever. And then we were like, someone has to be in here. Like, this has to be a prank. But it just kept going. And then it changed. So it went from like the cabinet door opening and closing to a, have you ever taken, you got a mason jar, not the lid, but the top thing that turns.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the 2 pieces.
Yeah.
So if you ever take the ring part of it and lay it down on the table, and how it'll go in a circle, and it makes a very distinct sound of spinning in a circle before it falls down.
Yeah.
It started doing that over and over and over and over again. But there wasn't any utensils or anything in the kitchen, so there wasn't any mason jars in the kitchen to make that noise. So neither one of us were brave enough to get up and go in the kitchen.
That was my question.
Or even to just say, like, is anybody awake?
Yeah, you know.
But we never, we never heard anyone go back to bed. We never heard, you know,
Ooh.
We never saw a light of someone trying to make it back to bed or do something in the kitchen. So it was really weird. It was really cool.
Yeah, that sounds
Those are my
cool.
favorite stories from Fall Creek Falls.
Well, yours are a lot better than mine. I feel like mine's not necessarily a story, just an observation, is that every time we go there, we have bad luck on weather. Every single time. So I've been there. One time I went, and Hurricane Matthew was, going on. And so it rained the whole time. One time I went, and there was, a tornado warning, and so we left early. And then when we went, it rained almost the whole time.
And rained. Evie was so cute in her little rain boots and her little rain jacket, and she was living it up. She thought it was the best.
I don't understand it.
Camping in the rain is just not great.
It's not. So hopefully next time we go, we will have good weather, because I've yet to have like a pretty camping trip at Fall Creek Falls. But I still love it. But a good like perk of that rain is seeing the waterfall before the rain and after the rain. So this is when we went too. So we saw the rain or the waterfall before from the overlook, and it was just kind of trickling. But then we went back after the rain, and it was flowing perfectly and was so beautiful. And so I'll have to post those pictures, the before and after, in my point of view post. But that is a perk of the rain. So you can always go back and see the waterfall, and it is most likely going to look different every time. You can also, I saw something this past winter when it was frozen, and it was beautiful. I would love to see that too, because it was really pretty.
Yeah.
So
I think that'd be really cool because it's so tall.
It was really pretty.
We're gonna have to put that on the list.
Yeah.
Put that on the list.
A never-ending list.
Yep. I think the next time I go back, I want to try to go to the festival. I think that would be fun. And then being there, well, September is the start of fall.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't have many color changes, but
probably
it would be
not.
cooler than June, July.
Yeah.
I would like to go back and see that, but I also want to stay in one of the cabins where you can fish off the back. Not that I fish, but my husband fishes and his brother fishes. So I think it would be fun for us to go as a family trip down there.
Yeah.
And let them fish and do whatever, and then we can take the girls swimming and do some of those other activities that we've not got to do yet.
Yeah. When I go back, I would also like to stay at one of the fisherman cabins. I do like to fish, so I think that would be super fun. And I would like to go visit the new lodge and eat at the new lodge.
Oh yeah, I want to eat at the new lodge.
Yeah.
I'm not done that. Not done that.
All kinds of things. Even though we've both been several times, still plenty to do.
Yeah.
And still plenty to do in the surrounding areas too. If you're within like an hour-ish.
Yeah. I don't remember what city it's in. Pikeville, maybe?
I think so. Maybe.
Pikeville.
Yeah.
Not Pikeville. Pikeville. Down there in Pikeville.
When you said something earlier, you changed it country too. It was about the festival. What's it called?
The Mountaineer Folk
Yeah, it was
Festival.
Mountaineer.
Mountaineer.
Yeah.
It's not Mountaineer. It's Mountaineer. Man, it'll be alright.
Oh, yeah, that's who we are. So.
It'll be alright. No, Fall Creek Falls is just far enough away from us. It's about 2 hours.
Yeah.
That it could be an easy weekend trip.
Oh, yeah,
it could
for sure.
almost be a day trip if you really wanted to push it.
Yeah.
But I would do it as a weekend trip.
And so many options for places to stay too. So there within the park. So I feel like most likely you could find something maybe closer to your trip.
Yeah. And then even if it rained the last time we went, we did the scenic drive and we saw a lot of deer on the scenic drive, and that's a few miles long. But there's a lot of look-offs, pull-outs on that drive too. So we didn't even have to get out of the car if we didn't want to.
Yeah.
There's just a lot to do there.
There is. I really love it. That's why it's one of my favorites. So the blog post will be posted next Monday, so definitely check that out. And I will be talking about the different waterfalls that you can see within the area and within the Tennessee State Parks, because we have some really good waterfall options at the Tennessee State Parks and really right there together. So if you made it like a week-long trip, you could hit several state parks with several beautiful waterfalls. So check my blog post out on Monday for that.
Yep. And we are on Instagram and Facebook. We try to do our hints to see if anyone knows what park we're going to. We also have a TikTok where we post some trip videos. And so you can find us on the link tree that we'll post, so you can get to all of those.
And you can also join our private Facebook page, and that is a place where you can share your travel information, your itineraries, ask any questions to see if maybe someone else has been there or done that, and if they have any tips or tricks.
Yep. And then we hope you will join us on our next YouTube Live, because next week we will be out of the state. We are going to the park. We are going to a lot of the parks, and our next YouTube Live we will choose one of those parks to talk about.
Yes.
So that will be a very fresh on our brain experience.
And we're going together. And make sure that you check out or you're following our pages, because we might post some real-time footage and tips from the parks that we are visiting. So
absolutely.
Make sure you're following along.
Yep. So until next time,
we'll see you at the park.